What's going on, y'all? Another week, another geek. We are back at it with the Why I'm Geek show. This is episode 114, and it's us, your favorite duo, your boy G and Chrissy. Like, Chrissy, how you feeling today, Brody?
We back on Fortnite. We gonna get a Fortnite game in. OG back.
Man, I ain't never quit for real. You know what I'm saying? I got my Miles Morales skin. I'm good. I still can't build though. But I'll shoot somebody.
Yeah, I played the no build mode. I played the no, but I'm doing good, man. I just tried it out this past weekend, and it was pretty cool, reminiscent. But how you been, G?
Good, bro. I'm good. Ready to get this thing going. Today we're gonna be talking about Loki, but before we get into that, this week's stamp or not is: should Marvel bring back the GOAT, Robert Downey Jr.? Stamp or no?
I'm stamping it.
What?
Normally I'd probably say no.
Okay.
But it's just kind of like you hit a home run with a character, and I kind of see how you did the past 3-4 years. He's been gone, and maybe I need you back for the remainder Avengers movies. Somehow maybe he is still the main driving character to help us in these movies, because I don't think Marvel got a plan. It still doesn't seem like they have a fully realized plan, and maybe bringing the GOAT back. He has one more Big Bang movie in him, and I know he went off perfectly, and you'd hate for the possibility that they ruin it, but I would stamp it. I would bring him back. But what about you, G? Stamp or nah?
Bro, I can't go for it, bro. He gone. Even though last episode I was like, bro, I miss Iron Man, I miss Cap, but it's like the only way I can really see it happening is if it's at like an AI capacity, like either Spider-Man or freaking somebody finds him and he basically becomes Jarvis or the Avengers at some point, a Zordon, if you will, type beat, like a guiding light to let us know where we're supposed to go. But to bring him back in full capacity, it's done. It's done. It can't get no better, bro. Like, that was a crazy send off, and I really think that his death in the movies, and then Black Panther's or Chadwick Boseman's death in real life really threw him through a loop, and we're still feeling the effects of that. Because I feel like last episode I talked about, or might be 2 episodes ago, that Captain America and Steve Rogers is gone or whatever, but it's like we have a Captain America, so we're not necessarily missing the role, we're just missing the leadership, and something that I had seen was that they was possibly going to bring another GOAT back in Tobey Maguire. So if they figure out a way to do that in a way that makes sense, I feel like that would be a better route, especially for it to be just more than one Spider-Man, because there's just a lot more avenues you can tackle when it comes to that, like more wiggle room as far as like bringing people out to the theaters. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, like, there's nothing really that's gonna bring us out for it. Like, other than just the fact that we're going, like, Marvel's comes out this week. We're going to go see that just because it's the Marvels. Like, it's the next thing in line. So, like, as far as getting a staple or like a ticket seller type beat, like, I think they just gonna have to knuckle up and stand on business, bro, and just gonna have to figure it out. To be honest, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go now, because it's like it'd be like Jordan on the Wizards, bro. Like, that's what it will feel like to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to see Mike in that Wizards jersey.
Hey, bro, he still was going crazy. I mean, but yeah, I wouldn't be mad. Obviously, I wouldn't be mad, but should they do it? I feel like that's a cop out. I feel like they need to tap in and just focus on what they're doing and make it better. Because it's like the everything we've been getting is like this Loki project, bro. This Loki's been excellent, you know, but it's like the same level of care or the same writing teams don't seem like it translates other stuff. And it's just the time period we're in. You know what I'm saying right now? Like
Hopefully.
it's gonna have some lulls in there, and it's just like it's got to pick up at some point. But that's my take, man. Let us know in the comments what y'all think. Does Robert Downey Jr. need to come back and be Iron Man? Let's get into this Loki, bro. So we were both right, kinda, as far as like what we thought was going to happen at the end of the temporal loom blowing up. You were right because people got sent back to different timelines. I was right because Loki was still there and they didn't die. So combination of the two. There was a lot of talking in this episode. So how did you feel about like just this, I guess, like catch up type of episode? Because there's nothing really, like stuff happened, but it was like we're all just waiting on the thing just happened at the end, you know. So how did you think about it?
Yeah, this is one of those episodes that it reminds me of the episode where the hero needs to get a power just so he can do the actual next episode.
Right.
Like it, the characters have to do this one thing to get a key to open the door that was locked that we left off at the previous episode. Like it couldn't just been unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
So Loki, pretty much he's able now to time slip willy nilly whenever point in time, which essentially makes him a better version of the device Sylvie has,
Mm-hmm.
or he is the
Tempad.
same device.
Yeah.
Yeah, a tempad. So I mean, we'll see exactly what he'll do, but it does kind of hint that Loki was very instrumental in making the TVA at some point in time. I
You
mean,
think
we may be
so?
seeing.
You think that's what that means? I
I,
don't
I
know.
think I think because just how we know Loki's path, it just makes me think that uh, he is the person who helped uh, bring about the TVA for a good purpose. Now, if Kang uses it for a bad purpose, that's like a whole nother thing. We don't know how Kang gets into power and wipes everyone's minds in a way. Technically, we know he created the. Uh,
TVA.
it's weird because what we're watching in the show is like a paradox anyway. Like
Yeah.
what is happening, another event could be happening at the same time, and especially with the TVA.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering because Loki now does have this power to go back and forth at any moment in time. Does he pretty much get the temporal room fixed with all the main characters back into play, uh, with their auras there, and then that's where Kang swoops in, mass takeover, and then wipes everyone's brains. Do you see what I'm saying? And then like, sends Loki back. Like it, it
Mm.
it's really weird because
That's some that's
we
some real that's some real head cannon right there. I ain't heard that. I ain't think that far ahead.
yeah, it's
That's
just because
cool. I like
that
that.
like it has to deal with something with all these characters getting back there,
Yeah.
and we already saw that the TVA had that failsafe. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
this episode when Loki was the only one remaining, and then he walked to like this right the same episode where he walked to the
Yeah.
screen and then it did the squigglies.
Yeah. Like the fail safe was trying to activate, but it never got the chance to.
Yeah, so the failsafe, it's kind of weird. Why would
Mm-hmm.
that even be a thing? Like the temporal loom breaking, and then there's some failsafe mechanism. So it kind of made me think something was initiating. You know what I mean? And that's why I originally thought when Kang walked out there, like he who remains knew that would happen. Like those events, he knew it had to happen in order for him to get the ball rolling, to be he who remains. So like him getting vaporized wasn't actually vaporized. It was just all a part of some elaborate plot, and that it had that error saying uh, failsafe happening. I was kind of like, yo, I'm still stuck on this. Th- this dude has it built in the system.
Bro,
A
saying
reset.
Chris ain't gonna let him live for nothing. He
Yeah, yeah.
can't die. He can't fade
Yep.
into existence. It was all part of his plan, bro.
Yeah.
Regardless of what he said, yo, that's hilarious, bro.
And that's why, like, with Loki being able to go back now, I'm like, okay, I see it. Loki goes back, brings everyone to the TVA at a certain point in time, and when they're all there, somehow Kang's gonna arrive, wipe their memory out, something along those lines. But yeah, I really like these types of episodes, but they are very talky episodes. They're super long. Mainly, it's just kind of show some lightheartedness with the characters and the crews before uh probably a send off, maybe one dies or maybe something big happens. But it's more of like we get to interact with all the characters that we've been knowing right before something,
Major.
most likely a decision happens. So it kind of sucks because I wanted more from an episode, but it's one of those standard episodes that are in a lot of shows. But how do you think about the episode overall?
I enjoyed it. I like the build up to the ending, just because it this show cycles a lot, like you're saying. So like just being able to see all the different moments that we saw earlier on in the show, especially with Loki while he was time slipping, and him like desperately trying to understand what is actually happening. You know, from just seeing himself do something to saying hello twice after you know what's going on, but you just won't turn around. Like, it was so cool seeing those moments. And then also, I really enjoyed Sylvie and Loki's, continued debate on like the what's right and what's wrong, essentially, and like why should we care? Because Loki really had to like had a moment where he gave up. He gave up and it was just like thought that it was over. Like he was just being dumb. We got to the root of why he really wants to save the TVA. This is something we can get into a little bit later. But right now, I wanna go back to your theories on
Oh
how.
no, it's a
Nah,
dark
just
hole.
just just one. I want to point one thing out. So at this point in the show, you're still in the thinking of like Kang or He Who Remains has planned all of this, even though he said himself that up until this point, which happens in 5 seconds, whatever he said, it was like three, two, one. He knew exactly what was going to happen, and after that, everything else was just like Sylvie said, it's like we got free will. We can do whatever we want. We can make our own choices. Um, you think it's going to like the cycle continuously is going to repeat itself, right?
Yeah, because
So
even essentially that's what Loki's trying to do the whole season, right? He's trying to get the TVA back in place and get it back to how Kang had it. And it's sort of
get
like
it
what
back.
Kang said.
I would say more so like get it back to where it's manageable. Because you said something earlier where you was like, you know, why all of a sudden now that the branches are going crazy, like why did it only get built to that specific like design where it can't expand and all these things like that? And what was the point of the failsafe, right? So my theory is that the failsafe is not so much a failsafe at like this mass quantity. It's more so a failsafe of like, you know, if there's too many uh threads that are out of the loop or whatever, like because that's how I kind of see how the sacred timeline is, because it's like it's not like how everything is right now where it's a whole bunch of little lines. It's a big one, like it's a
Yep.
big circle, right? So that's like I just see that as like one rope, but that rope still has multiple threads on it.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. So when there's either too many threads or they lose power, that reset will just reset them back essentially to where everything is back in alignment. But I don't think Kang is the answer that is like going to just pop out of nowhere. I think that it's just been a straight line. Like that's how time is working. Like everything up until now is happening for the first time. So
Mhm.
when you're saying like um Loki helped create the TVA, I don't think that's what happened. I think Loki is helping rebuild it to where it's people are gonna eventually be able to have, still have free will, but there's gonna be parameters to so that the thing that, essentially was something that's probably not gonna get solved in Loki specifically, but it's gonna
Yeah,
get
most likely not.
established that, if we don't maybe not prune all of these timelines, but prune enough to where this new temporal loom that's going to get created eventually, we'll be able to house it and, you know, be able to do whatever it needs to do. And that's going to be the new TVA, essentially, because Loki was just like, bro, I just want my friends back type beat, you know? And when he said that, it just made it seem like, oh, yeah, he's never leaving the TVA after this. He
Mhm.
has no desire to do or be anything else. So what do you say to that theory? Because right now you just saying Kang did it.
Because
That's how I feel.
yeah, but so I would agree, but the only thing is, like, we know that the Kang Dynasty movie's coming up. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if we went with your theory, essentially Loki would be running the TVA, but he would keep enough timelines that there are enough Kangs to have that whole Council of Kangs
Mm-hmm.
still, and then there would be enough to still have the whole Kang Dynasty movie, them to have a Secret War type uh battle,
Mm-hmm.
which was not the design of the previous loom. So what you're saying is they make a new loom that allows for that conflict to happen still.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, it's kind of like, well, what did Kang do? Because essentially his story is he meets himself,
Mm-hmm.
more variants, they all get together, they all have this huge um battle that wipes out everything, and his only way to solve that was literally pruning everything to one nice timeline. So essentially, if we are moving to a loom that allows for all these Kangs to intermix, I think that's the same scenario that He Who Remains is describing.
Well,
Like,
he used the what you calls to prune the Kangs, but that's not pruning the whole universe, all the universe. That's just pruning one person.
yeah, but to me, that war is started from Kang interacting with another Kang, being able to discover each other. You know what I mean? I,
Yeah.
I'm guessing in the one that He Who Remains created,
Mm-hmm.
it's just not possible anymore. Do you know what I mean? For
Yeah, and that's why I say that it happened in the past, and it's not something that is getting repeated.
But we know
It's
the
going to
Kang
be
movie's
different.
coming.
Yeah, we know the Kang movie is coming, but the Kang movie is not what happened to He Who Remains. The Kang movie is going to be something completely different. Is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
so what do you think's gonna be different than He Who Remains' main story? How he came
The
to be?
Avengers are going to be there,
Yeah,
so that's the main difference. Like the before with He Who Remains, it was all the Kangs fighting each other, but essentially, I think that this time it's going to be because like the whole point of the Quantum Mania thing was that they realized that you know
like we saw
the
the
one that
meat.
got yeah, well, we saw the meet, but I'm saying like what they said in the meeting, which was the banished one has been defeated,
Yeah,
right? So they're still aware of him even though like in that moment the Kangs are still um altogether outside of time.
Yeah,
But because that happened on the sacred timeline, they can't do nothing about it. So I think that they're all just waiting, like sort of like in an invasion, versus like when it initially happened, it was like, all right, they conquered their own universes first and then continue to come together and then help the next person and help the next person and help the next person, help the next person. That's what I think. But I think because of what's going to happen in Loki, it's going to allow and people are going to be aware of who Kang is because before they didn't know who he was, right? And that King
exactly. That
and that King the Conqueror already said that he had beat multiple Avengers before this when he was fighting Ant-Man. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
exactly.
like because they're gonna have this knowledge, if Ant-Man ever tells anybody, because it didn't seem like he was gonna say anything.
Yeah, he's
Um,
snitching.
but you know, at
But
some
like
point
those parts is
they're gonna
exactly
know.
why I'm kind of like, how is it not his story?
Say
Like
again.
like all the stuff that you just said, it's like why is that not still the same story that He Who Remains said? He said he met himself. You don't even need to know that he defeated the Avengers. All you need to know that he met himself and him and different variants of himself were bad and they conquered everything and they kept doing it till they had this whole multi-universal war, whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had to prune everything to make the sacred timeline, and it's the only solution, and it works. Like that's like his main deal. Like
Yeah,
they could have defeated the Avengers multiple times. So
yeah.
it's just kind of like, yeah,
He
I
all
know
they.
they will verse the Avengers because we have a movie coming out, but it's
Mhm.
just kind of like what we're seeing. The end of Loki to me is kind of like Kang knew this is gonna happen. Like, oh, I knew y'all were gonna do all this stuff again. We're gonna go defeat the Avengers again, blah 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 blah. And only in the Kang movie will we see like the actual act that's different, um, and how they kind of defeat Kang. You know, like something crazy that brings about another big bad or something. You know, but nothing that we saw from Loki. And that's what I'm saying. All I'm getting from Loki is somehow he is a key instrument in either bringing about this war or just doing the TVA all over again. So then they can get to the point in time where Kang does invade and do all the stuff that starts the multiversal war. That will eventually lead to Kang being back on top.
So, what is your question?
Like
I'm
all I'm
trying to
saying
figure
is
it out.
like we don't know. It's not like Kang create what we saw from this show.
Yeah,
It's not like Kang created the TVA and it started from go. Do you know what I mean?
why not?
Because the TVA book got dropped. It's like a paradox. The TVA book got dropped off to um
Oh, to the young
Victor
king.
Timely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to young Victor. Yeah.
And therefore we know that that is important for Victor
Mm-hmm.
to learn stuff there
Mm-hmm.
for him to do something before his demise.
Yeah. So in
To
that,
ultimately lead
okay,
up to one day him dropping off the book again, if that makes sense. Because it's a
okay,
paradox.
okay. So paradox, right?
You know.
I understand what that means. But but so to me, that book and the Lokis are two separate things. So the idea of Ravonna and Miss Minutes dropping off that book as a contingency plan, as protocol after they recognized that he died,
Mhm.
is everything was supposed to happen, or like not everything was supposed to happen. Uh, Everything that happened to Victor Timely up until the point that we meet him is like how it was supposed to happen. But once they go into the past and um basically take him to the TVA,
Yeah.
that's where things are once again like it's free play at that point. So I don't so like I think that the whole point of the book was for him to learn as much as he can to then finally be able to develop over time, even if it happened when he was 60 versus at this age that he's at, whatever age he is in the show. um it would have served its purpose. Like it was like if the Lokis never touched him, then it would have happened exactly how he said it would. But because the Lokis were there and took him out of time, now that's why he got disintegrated and didn't become he who remains at that certain point. Right? So even if it wasn't Victor Timely and it was the Fantastic Four version where the Sphinx guy, regardless of whatever happens, because the Kings exist outside of time, they can go back and contact whoever they need to basically help that King become who he needs to be. Right? So
Yeah, and
that's where
all I'm saying is
that's what I
we're watching it. Like
what
you don't believe we're watching it. You believe we're like in like the future, like a new scenario.
yeah, I think we're in the present. I
But
don't
but
think this
but
is the
for like for
future.
example, like Loki, what you're saying is, oh, we're in this whole new thing. We saw Loki able to see himself in a previous episode. You see what I'm saying?
No, I'm not tracking. I'm not
Like
tracking.
he Loki saw himself when
Yeah.
he time slipped back into the past.
Yeah.
Then he walked through the door and he could see himself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So essentially, if you take that same logic and apply it to Kang himself,
Mm-hmm.
him dropping off that book can coincide with him creating the TVA also, like setting the events up so everything is still going forward. And and that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's a possibility, but
Yeah.
what I what I'm saying is like, do you think there's a difference between the Loki that saw himself and the Loki that at the end of the show that was able to control the slime something to
It
go exactly
is
where he
the same
wants?
person.
I think it's two. I think it's two different people.
But so that's what I'm saying. It's a
One gets
paradox.
pruned.
But that's why that's bro, that's why I was saying it's a paradox because literally he who remains said this was gonna happen this way. And then
Well, he said he
it
doesn't
the
know what's going to happen now, though. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, but okay, so he who remains
Hmm?
would know Victor Timely, correct?
Yes, he is Victor
But
Timely.
Victor Timely would not
Technically.
know he who remains.
Yes, because he ain't become him yet. Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So Loki saw himself already, but he didn't
Yeah.
realize what was going on until he was in the future and he looked back and realized, oh God, that was me 2 episodes ago.
Right, but why? Why was it? Why was it two versus? That's what I'm trying to say.
Why was it 2 versus 1?
Why was it?
It doesn't matter. It's
Why
a
did he
length of
see
time.
himself? Why? Well, what I'm saying is, why did he see himself versus like what he did at the end of the episode, which was go exactly back to that same place that he was, regardless of like, you know, what was happening. He didn't time slip, and there was two versions of him. Like this, the whole episode. Every time he time slipped, and it was like with Mobius, and he was in the garage trying to sell him the jet ski because got divorced and his wife wasn't driving it no more. He saw himself there again, right? But that was because he was going through the Tempad, and because now this power allows him to go exactly to the moment, regardless of um
Of him.
of him. Yeah, and it's just him, and everybody's not moving. It's just him. That's what I'm trying to say.
So you're saying he's going back to himself.
Yeah.
So one of himself had to get pruned, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
So there's
boom,
two
two
Lokis.
Lokis.
Yeah, two Lokis in
You're
themselves.
watching on
And you're
YouTube. We
saying those
got
are two different Lokis.
yes.
And my question is how? We watched both
So
Lokis.
boom,
Like,
so boom. It's two different Lokis, right? Demonstration. This is the Loki that time slipping. This is the Loki that was
that's the
looking.
same Loki though. They both could time slip. Remember, he had to prune himself.
Yes,
So then he could
yeah.
stay
This is
in
the one. This is the
that
one that got
timeline.
pruned. This is the one that got pruned,
Yeah.
right? So when he figured out how to uh, time slip by himself, they became one and became something completely different, which is why there was no double version of Loki in the end.
So for
That's all
example,
I'm
if
trying to say.
so when he time slips, anytime he time slips, he would have to prune himself, correct?
No.
If he's in there, right?
Wait, what?
Otherwise, he would be doing the freaky time slipping thing. I thought that was the whole thing.
No, because when he time slipped in the end, he was literally pulling on the time strings. So it was literally like himself versus like before he was getting torn from the past and the present. Now he's just in the present. Or he was getting torn between the past and the future. And now he's in the present. That's what I'm trying to say. Loki
Yeah,
has
but
been
I
in the
thought
present
when
the
he
whole time.
time slipped originally, Kobe told him he had to prune himself, and then that would allow him to be able to be in that timeline. Like he could slip into like there, so he wouldn't slip out to a different place. Like, what was the purpose of him pruning himself then? Because I agree with what you're saying. Like what he's doing now is he's just
Is
essentially pruning himself to that same moment in time so he could be that Loki. But there was no means of him doing that before. It's kind of like
so,
I have to find myself in that same time
but he
period.
wasn't getting pruned though. They was using the doors.
Oh, very true, very true.
They was using the doors in the episode versus like when he would time slip by himself, it
Yeah, I
was
guess I need to
always
rewatch
like
why he pruned himself then. What what was the
because
reason?
because he was glitching.
He was time slipping. It,
Yeah, he was time slipping, but I'm saying like the to
you see what I'm saying? Like,
it's it's confusing, but the only thing I'm trying to say is before anytime he time slipped, there was going to be another version of himself. But
I agree.
now, because he has full control of it, it's only
Yes,
one.
I agree. But essentially, what it's doing now is it's pruning himself. He's going back to that same location at the exact
But
same
think
time.
about what you're
So
saying.
it's
When you get
becoming
pruned, you
himself.
get transported to that place.
Oh my gosh. But when he pruned himself, he was there. So he was still in the same timeline. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because there can't be more than one of them. Yes, I understand that, but
Yeah.
we got to find a different word because
But those are the words from the TV show.
no, what I'm no, because what I'm saying is like when he actually pruned himself, uh, he was physically gone from that timeline, right?
Yeah,
So that
but
he stabilized.
we saw the episode when he actually got pruned.
Yeah, but that was like he didn't know how he was going to get pruned though. That's what I'm trying to say.
He
Also,
didn't know who pruned him or anything. That's what I'm saying.
no,
We saw the whole episode.
yeah. Bro,
And
I
then
don't
it
even know
came
what
back
we're
around that
arguing
it was
about now.
him.
I don't even know what we're
Yeah.
arguing about now. All I was trying to say was that uh, what he can do now is is
Is go back to a certain moment in time where he was in the TVA and he's gonna set it back up.
yes,
Yeah, because
exactly.
now he has all the things that he needs, which is he can pretty much he can go back in time, no temp pad needed or whatever.
Hmm.
He has all the people, he just has to gather them and then we all can go back.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
stabilize the whatever it's called, temporal loop.
Yeah, to reset up the TVA. So but what your theory overall is he just sets up the TVA to a single
Hmm.
timeline again and then we're right back to normal, right? That's what you're
No,
saying.
no, not right back to normal. It's going to be different. What I'm saying is like the device that they created to fix the temporal loom is going to expand what was allowed originally, right?
Okay.
Which is why it was all going wild. Um, but since they can go back and fix it, and they're gonna have enough time to do exactly what like now he has all the answers because he's done been through it all, right? He might not be able to exactly explain it and do all the mechanics or whatever, but um, he should be able to directly do what they were trying to do with Victor Timely, and Victor Timely's not going to die this time because he's going to go out there and do it, essentially.
Yeah, but what is that? That's kind of because what I'm saying is literally, no matter what's happening in Loki is bringing about the war.
Correct.
So what is Loki doing in your scenario? Like, what is he doing?
Loki is basically going to become Renslayer, which her
So
job was.
There is no He Who Remains.
Not anymore.
So, but they're not pruning branch timelines.
Yeah, they're not pruning.
Okay.
They're not pruning full timeline.
So like, he's just gonna let Watch Kang do the Universal War, but he's not gonna let branches of reality get pruned at all. Like, that's not gonna be an option for He Who Remains or Kang to do.
Yeah, the only way they're gonna be able to get their cake and eat it too is if
they're just gonna have to stop Kang.
Yeah, they're gonna have to stop Kang, but like that be the focus versus pruning literally everything or pruning all the variants to make it so like that never happens again. It's like we're gonna give the people a chance to
fight them.
Yeah, versus like not having a chance to fight them. That's what I think is gonna happen.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to explain it, but like the whole point of me saying that was just trying to like get a better understanding of how you see what Loki is doing now. You know, because I'm trying to get you on. I'm trying to get you on the boat of it being like.
But that's why I've explained literally
continuous
what Loki
thing versus
is doing
like
now.
Going backwards.
Yeah, but that's the show. That's why I keep saying.
Yeah.
That's what the show has shown throughout the whole thing. That we're on this paradox circle. It's like Ouroboros's name. It's a circle, and you're kind of like viewing it as like a linear show.
Yes. I think time is linear. Yes.
But that's not what they've shown us all the entire show. That's all I'm saying.
I don't see that. I'm trying to see it, but I don't see it because what I'm seeing is that everything that's happening right now is happening for the first time. Because Loki is the variant. Loki is the reason why like this will all be able to happen. Because if Loki was there in the beginning when He Who Remains was creating the TVA, he would be in that book with Ouroboros. He would be in the book. And
why would he be in the book?
Because he helped build it. That's what you're saying. Like
OB isn't in the book.
He wrote the book.
So OB wrote the book.
Yes.
All the inventions are made by Victor Timely.
Or He Remains.
For OB to get the book, that's what I'm saying. When did OB write the book? Where did he get the information for the book?
OB got the information from He Who Remains, not Victor Timely.
That's why I'm saying it's a paradox, because Victor Timely had the book originally, written by He Who Remains.
No.
Written by OB.
No. You mixing them up, bro. You mixing them up. It's because before there was a OB, before there was a Victor Timely, there was a He Who Remains. Right?
You're ignoring this paradox that we're watching.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm not ignoring
you are.
Let us know in the comments. I don't think I'm ignoring it, bro.
Because what you're saying is literally, okay, so we went through a version way in the past where it was just straight line, where He Who Remains created everything.
Yes. And after he created the temporal loom and had all those designs and stuff like that, he relayed that information to his head engineer, which is somebody that was going to be on the ground, that was going to be able to fix exactly what they needed. So he had him write the handbook, right? He's basically his ghostwriter. And
which is who?
OB.
So in this original timeline, he somehow got OB, the same OB.
Yes.
To write it.
Yes.
Okay,
because he took when the one episode where we saw Renslayer was the general and stuff like that, like, and had her go back and run things before he wiped everybody's mind, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So he created those things, but OB is the one that understands how it all works. He's just the engineer, he's not the inventor, you know. And then Victor Timely is learning everything from OB, but
it's right there, G. It's right there. That is the paradox. That's what we watched. It's literally what we watched.
It's not though, bro. Because it's, bro.
So who taught Victor Timely then? We saw it. That's what I'm saying.
Victor Timely was taught by the book.
That's and the paradox that I'm trying to.
What we're going to see is not so much and this is in King Dynasty, right? It's not going to be so much of the different versions of King learning how to do everything. It's going to be them directly going to teach that person. That's I
don't know where you're getting that from. That's
what happens in the comic books. That's what happens.
Yeah, but we're not watching the comic books. We're watching the show. We're watching the movies. They already explained the story on how it's done.
I don't agree, bro. I don't agree.
Kang himself never even said Kang came back to talk to him. Kang said he then went to another Kang. They went to another Kang. They all.
That's what happened. That's literally what happens, though. So then why in this scenario, after Kang has died, after all the other Kangs are already like sitting outside of time or whatever, and they're all like, besides those other three, they all look the same, right? Mm-hmm. Why is it that they can all sit there while Victor Timely in this timeline is just sitting in Chicago in 1868?
What are you talking about?
Like,
why are they sitting there if he's in 1868?
Yeah, like why haven't they gone to get him? That's what I'm saying.
That's the King that allows all the Kangs to eventually exist. Victor Timely. That's what I'm saying. What we're watching, they need him to get the book to eventually do what's happening in the show, so then all the Kangs can gather in the future. Like, these events that we're watching have to happen.
But they're happening outside of time. That's what I don't get. That's why I say it's one line, though.
They're happening outside of time.
Yeah, and the TVA, time works differently.
Okay. Yeah.
So, because it's happening outside of time, like, the way time moves there, it's like everything is happening for the first time, essentially.
So that I just don't agree with that part. That's why because we've seen Loki.
I could be wrong.
So, for example, Loki, we watched Loki have a scenario in which he was sitting with all of them and time is collapsing or whatever. The universe is getting broken down. And then he's like, oh, we're too late. Or Sylvie said, oh, we're too late. And then he literally goes back in time and then says, I figured it out. So essentially that moment that we just saw is just gone. But it still happened in time.
Yes.
Okay. So we watched that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So those events happened, but he changed it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So all I'm saying is stuff that we're watching, they're all happening.
Yes.
But something can happen, like Loki going back in the past, and it changed the future. So, for example, them giving the book to Timely was for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was for the loop part.
But what loop? So that's the question. What loop? What did it do?
The original loop.
Yeah. What was the point of the book? Yeah. Give it to them.
Yeah, was to give the book to Victor Timely,
Yeah.
who without any other after the fact, without any other interaction with Loki or Sylvie or anything like
That
that, he
he
would
would create the
eventually
TVA.
become yes, he would eventually become uh he who remains. Correct.
So and all I'm saying is that portion
Mm-hmm.
without you're saying without the intervention of Loki,
Mm-hmm.
right back to the beginning of the pod,
Yes.
I said Loki gaining those powers is actually how the TVA was created. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's why I'm
No.
saying it's all on purpose because now he's gonna go back. He's gonna grab the key members with their key auras, go back to the loom, fix the loom. Do
Mm-hmm.
you see what I'm saying?
Fix the loan. Continue. Keep on.
So, and make the same timeline that He Who Remains created.
No. No. That's not how it works, bro. That's not how it works. I'm trying to tell you, bro.
Yeah.
It's Loki. What Loki is going to create is something different. Because remember when he first got back, right after he left the end of time,
Yeah.
everything was different.
He
It was a
first got
different TVA. Like all the all the statues of the timekeepers and stuff like that, they were gone essentially.
Yeah.
And you saw Kang for the first time in the TVA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once we got back, then that's when he started time slipping and going back and forth because of what? When he went back, he was in the past.
When he went back to
When Mobius was like, I don't know who you are. Like when that initial chase, he said, I don't know who you are.
so
right?
he went back to a different time in the TVA.
He went back to a time before their minds was wiped. So
Yes.
it's all one thing, bruh. It's all one thing. It's not a cycle if it's all happening in one straight line.
So that's why I'm saying this season we saw that it's so the first season we saw that it was all predetermined, right?
Up until that point, yes.
And this season, what I'm saying is we've seen that it's in a loop.
And in this
And that's why I'm saying
yeah.
you were just not seeing it.
No,
We're
exactly. I'm
loop.
not seeing that we're in the loop, and you're not seeing that it's a straight line because everything that's happening is different.
But so where are you getting that it's different? Because last season you didn't.
I'm banking it
When we
on the
watched the show,
yeah
we didn't know it was predetermined until the last episode.
yeah. I'm banking
So
it.
how do we for sure know that everything's different now?
I'm banking it on the fact that I believe when what He Remains said in the sense of that everything up until this point to get y'all here was planned.
Yeah.
But when his time pad went off or temp pad went off and said boom, clock hit 0 and all the branch timelines start happening, I don't know what's gonna happen now.
Yeah, but he also said if
y'all
you think
take
I'm bad, like if you kill me,
yeah.
you'll meet my variants and they're way worse, and I'll be right back here. And that's what I'm saying.
I'll be right back here because of the contingency plan. He wasn't counting if they said no and left, right? He's saying that it would have been what Sylvie wanted, right? Which is nothing happens and everything's gonna go bad, and then he's back up here because there would have been no interference. But because Loki went back and still tried to fix things, is the reason why we're in the situation we are now. So if y'all do nothing, if y'all kill me now,
if we go with Sylvie's route, I'll be
Yes.
back here as
Exactly.
the TVA's
exactly.
owner.
But if y'all take
But if
over,
we go Loki's route, it's gonna be totally different.
That's what
you're saying.
Yeah, if we go Loki's route and take the job, right?
Yeah.
And bring order, then the bad thing won't happen.
Yeah,
which
keep
is all the
pruning.
kings.
But I said
Yeah.
But you think Loki's gonna go back and make the same loom the same thing?
I think
You
it's
said,
gonna
no,
be
it's gonna
bigger.
be different.
I think it's gonna be
Okay.
bigger.
All right, so when we get to bigger now,
Yeah.
what does the bigger do? It allows for the kings to then meet each other, right?
Yes, it allows for them to have parameters where, like, eventually what
Like
this
it's
is.
not infinite. Is that what you're saying? Like,
Yes, it's not infinite.
okay,
It's gonna have some parameters, right?
yeah.
But because this is happening outside of time, it doesn't matter what they're doing right now. What's happening in reality, which is like the where what we're going to see in what you call, is already simultaneously happening.
Well, so like the whole outer time or whatever doesn't really matter because we already see the kings gather. Like that's out of time too, right?
Yes,
We, yeah. So like it, none of that really
I'm
matters
not
because we don't
talking
even
about.
know
Yeah, I'm not talking about the gathering. I'm talking about when they actually um try to take over again. That's what I'm saying.
who take over.
Those three kings, because they seen
Okay,
that
yeah,
the biggest and baddest is done. It got beaten. He got taken to
yeah, but
even
we don't
smaller
know
point.
like what moment in time was that officially when He Who Remains died? Was that when Ant Man defeated
And that's where
him?
I'm
Like,
answering. That's where I'm answering questions or
yeah, but what
things.
I'm saying is your version of Loki's temporal loom.
Is at the end, not a end of time, but the end of uh phase five,
Yeah, so
essentially. So after
So
Secret Wars.
essentially, your theory is I'm
Hmm.
getting this right now
Yeah.
that his Loki's temporal loom
Hmm.
somehow limits Kang's ability to have infinite amount of him. So maybe that's beatable for the Avengers.
Yes.
Okay.
But
Okay.
that's just like bare minimum of what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
My thing is like with what we're gonna see at the end of Loki, just like how the end of season one was the
Mhm.
moment where the sky cracked open and stuff like that in Spider-Man.
We don't
Like,
know that though. We don't know that for sure. That's what I was.
that's what I think though. That's all I'm saying is what I
Okay.
think. That's what
All right.
I think. That's what makes sense to me, right? Because all this could be happening simultaneously. Um, so when that's happening, Secret Wars or King Dynasty, whichever one they end up choosing, is where we'll end at Loki.
Okay.
That's all I'm trying to say, and it's gonna be a
Yeah.
straight
Yeah.
line after that.
Yeah. I mean, I if Loki's creating some limiter that is on purpose to defeat, like
King.
kind of like we're gonna make something that limits Kang, so then I know the
Hmm.
Avengers will be able to defeat them now, or
Right,
hope
right. Like
that makes sense.
Every Avenger from every timeline and every universe essentially will be able to beat their king.
I don't know about that one,
Like,
but
why? Why? Because the Fantastic Four defeated that king.
yeah, it's just because we know that the Kang movie is gonna come up, and we know that all those Kangs and Councils of Kings are all gonna get together. So somehow our Fantastic Four that we see in our new merged timeline that we're gonna get is the ones who defeat the Kangs. You know what I mean? Make sure that they're like Dunzo. And like I said, I like the idea of Loki's the one who like limits him. So
Yeah,
then maybe there's only like say the 1,000 Kangs automatically universe is gone, but 500 is
and they got
doable.
a chance. Yeah,
You know, just kind of like Thanos was inevitable
right.
after 40 years of experience, but at 35 years he's a little too
Mhm.
rash, too or cocky. You know what I mean? He's not
Yeah,
seasoned enough to just
do it.
you know yeah
Yeah,
too eager. You know,
yeah.
so I'm cool with that one, but like
Mm.
I think we're leading up to we're all getting back on one single plane, and somehow in the Kang movie they're gonna reveal how, um, like it could just be Loki knowing the future, you know, like Loki teleporting back in time to help the Avengers, like he's the messenger and he can help them out. I don't know.
Because we also got to think about how this all started, which was them trying to beat Thanos by time traveling.
Yeah,
That's how it all started.
but
So
see
if that
exactly
never,
that Loki can go to that exact moment in time, right?
yes,
Yeah.
but it would in that instance because it's the sacred timeline. It wouldn't necessarily be him.
Well, he I mean, it's confusing.
I
The
don't know.
pruning and stuff.
Actually, I don't
Yeah,
know, but
he's a variant and stuff like that.
yeah,
It's
that's what I'm
complicated.
saying. Like, so because he's a variant,
All
like
right, so
he
but
can
we
move.
do have two theories. We got
Yeah.
yours. Loki fixes it. Loki runs the TVA, and he's
Yes.
somehow living in Kang. And I'm
Yes.
just kind of like still on the same thing of
Kang did it.
yeah, Kang did it. It's clear as day now. It's clear as
So
day.
our physicians,
Loki built the TVA.
yeah, our so yours is he built it, mine is that
Yeah,
he fixed it.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. Essentially, that's what we debated for an
Yeah,
hour.
for an hour, bro. That's crazy. But now we're on the same page of like where we both think. I was just trying to get you on my side. I'm trying to figure out how I can do that because I thought I had you in this one.
No, I'm just kind of like, what is the goal if Loki
Mm-hmm.
runs it? You know what I mean? He he has to he has to do it
So
for a
he can be
reason.
with his friends, bro. He said it. He told us what he wanted. Power
'Cause
Rangers, go.
yeah, that would be a dumb ending if they just fix it and then they just sit there and don't worry about Kang. Like I'd be like,
Yeah.
bro,
Nah, like the way I see it is like, uh, kind of like how what was that youngest name from Naruto, the little black thing that basically made it so that
that's
Kaguya could come back or come back. Is Zetsu, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's how I see Loki. It's basically like, and the TVA essentially. It's basically like they're doing what they have to do to make sure that King can't rise to power again. Essentially,
So what do you think Sylvie's gonna do then in the finale?
I think Sylvie gonna die, bro. I don't think it. I don't think she gonna make it, bro.
By who? What the heck? This is a bigger theory
She
now. What the?
she gonna have to make a sacrifice, bro. Can't be two Lokis.
Yeah,
Nothing good happens when they're together, bro. Everything
because you're
breaks.
saying all the branches of timelines are gonna be able to exist at the same time,
Hmm.
and Sylvie will be fine with that because they all get to live. There's no
Yeah, and
death.
she's
They
gonna make
all
that sacrifice, and because it's her choice, she gonna do it, and then that's gonna be how she
sacrifice for
goes.
what? Like, who are they fighting? Are they about to fight a big bad in this TVA that I don't know about?
I don't know what they finna do, but I just everybody got pruned. Like, cause if they go back to exactly uh, before the temporal loom blows up, that means that Renslayer is done. That means that what you call is done. The This is Menace is done. So they're gonna have to probably go back even further. They're probably gonna have to go back to like before
Paradox. It's
no
gonna come back.
before Victor Timely gets there,
Paradox.
or maybe before. I don't know. I don't know where they're gonna go, but it's just gonna be him traveling. So like they might not have the same memories as him because his memory never changed.
Where's Renslayer? I know we're running late now. Where's Renslayer right now?
Renslayer is in the void thing. She got pruned.
Hmm, Paradox, yeah.
She gone, brother.
Renslayer and future He Who Remains are gonna meet up with Loki in the finale, defeat Loki, and then wipe everyone's brains. That I just spoiled episode 6. All right, I'm. Where's
Yeah.
Vegas? I need money on this now. I see it.
I don't know, bro. I can't see that, but I can see her coming back eventually because that the place that they get pruned, that's still the end of time, right?
It's a place without time. That void area where Alive was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because the end of time thing is just confusing. I mean, they go into a door
they keep
inside of
going back.
Alive,
Yeah,
and it just I,
keep going back and forth between like because they've gone back like twice in this season, you know. And He Who Remains just sitting there decaying, like turning
yep.
into mush, bro. Nasty, nasty. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm glad we hashed that out.
Oh,
Struggling
we'll
for
find out episode 6, and that's
yeah.
gonna be a pod everyone wants to see. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, you got anything else for this joint? I mean, it was just a whole bunch
It,
of talking for real.
it's
Like,
a talkie episode. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
like
talkie episode.
I think the coolest part was Sylvie in the record store.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It was really cool.
Damn, like yo, this all gone. She was just sitting there.
Very cinematic. Like
Yeah.
even the setup with her just getting up and
What did you think?
temp padding at.
What did you think about all everybody's like spots in the like how Mobius was a jet ski.
I mean, I
What you
like
call?
the guy coming out of Alcatraz.
Yeah, that was so random, bro. I was not
Apparently,
expecting
that
that.
was like a real life story or something like that.
Yeah,
So
I've
they
heard of
they
that.
took they took it from that story. So I thought that was really cool. Like, oh, he could
Yeah,
have been, he was one of those guys in reality. That's really cool because everyone else is just a doctor. So we
instead
don't
of
really
breaking
would
people,
know.
she fixes them. Like I just like how
Yeah,
it was all opposites, kind
yeah.
of
Oh,
like
very
what
true.
you kind of expect. Other than Mobius, Mobius was like what you expect. But he had two kids though, which was interesting.
Yeah,
One like to burn things. Oh,
and then even OB, he was
oh
a
yeah, Ob
writer.
was a professor and
Oh, oh, I'm not gonna get into it, but
what?
craziest luck ever that he happened to be
Oh,
also a
professor.
scientist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like I was like, they're dead. They dead. This is over.
But once he pulled up to the spot, I was like, what is he doing there? Like,
Yeah, and it looked exactly like his office. I did
yeah, it
not
did.
understand. I
Hmm.
I was very
Yeah,
confused by that scenario. Don't
yeah.
don't get me started on that theory.
I
The
was surprised
TVA
when
is actually OB's office. Like
I'm
no.
saying like it got built out, it got designed off of that. But I'm
Yeah.
still surprised that Sylvie was like she couldn't stop herself from getting bodied. But that had to literally been the end of everything before before
Yeah,
Loki was
it's
able to what
just
you call.
pretty much Sylvia was wrong, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
well, nothing's happening. All of these branches have a chance to live, but
which is something that
somehow,
we knew. You know, we could figure
yeah. Like, I mean, it don't look like everything's going correctly, but
that. Hmm.
it, it's a little funky because at some point in time, was there not He Who Remains based on your logic?
I don't know what you're saying right now.
Oh man.
Brain is fried, bro. Brain is fried.
Yeah.
All right. Well, um, what you geeked about, bro?
Man, I was geeked about this movie that was on Hulu, Haunting in Venice. I caught up on a little bit more spooky movies. Um,
You doing overtime?
yeah, it was. I think it's Agatha Christie. She's the writer, but this is the third book or movie of it, of a book she wrote. And I really, really love these books. It's kind of like Knives Out, if you ever seen any of those movies. The kind of sleuth detective, and
Mm.
he's gonna figure out who's the murderer. And this is the third one. Not as great as I've ever seen, but I was super geeked about watching it because I thought the last two were pretty good. Uh, but yeah, I'm just excited to catch up on a couple of movies uh, this week. And to be honest, I'm pretty excited to see the Marvels. The trailers are getting Marvels. The
Yeah,
trailers are getting to me, and I'm like,
they
maybe there's
keep
a
showing them though.
chance it's solid. Maybe there's a
I don't think the
chance.
first one was bad though.
Yeah, I didn't think the first one was bad, but it's looking more
They,
intense, or like maybe I'm missing something that they. Maybe there's more to this movie than I thought. That's all.
I was about to
So
say something, but I don't know what you saw in the trailers
yeah.
or heard, but it's something I heard in the trailer that had me geeked. I was like,
Okay.
ooh,
Yeah. I'm actually geeked now.
yeah.
Like I don't know what happened, but hey, what you geeked about, G?
All right, so first things first, Invincible's back. It's lit. Still ain't watched Gen V. I always want to say 5, but Gen V. Still ain't watched that, but I'm gonna catch it up on that. And then Attack on Titan. It's over. It's done, bro. It's done. And I didn't cry, but I'm kind of upset, not at how it ended by any means, but how it released. It just didn't hit as hard as I thought it was gonna hit, and it's because I ain't watched it in I don't know how long. Like it feel like it's been forever, and the way they've been releasing it in parts and stuff like that, and then into specials, it was like, bro, y'all really frying me. Like,
It's
just
like
put it
five
all out.
months of parts, right?
Yeah, like, and it nothing
5
I
months.
saw in that joint had me like, oh yeah, this took like, there's no way they could have finished this in what you call. Not because it's bad,
That final fight animation was crazy.
but it was crazy. But it was like, it was just as crazy as the first special. Like, there's no way you're telling me
Sure.
you didn't edit it all at one time.
Yeah.
After all that time, like, if we're going to do a special type thing, like, I don't know. And did it release in theaters? If it released in theaters, it might be different. But it was just too far apart. It was too far apart, bro. And I just didn't like that. Because it just took, I had to get re-engaged with it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, but by the end of it, I was like, oh, that joint was crazy. So yeah, Invincible and Attack on Titan was lit. I'm halfway through Stranger Things now. I'm on season 3.
Nice.
It's lit. It's lit. Last episode of season 2, I could have wrote it myself, bro. It was peak. It was so good. It was so good, bro. And now we in some drama. Season 3. Yep, Lover's Quarrel. That joke is funny. Loving that. And then, yeah, nothing else really, like gaming wise or anything. Ain't 2K, bro. That's it. But super excited for stuff that's coming out this month. Like you said, we got the Marvels. Then we also got, I want to see Cher this weekend too. I think that's gonna be really cool. And then I'm seeing a whole bunch of stuff that's like TV shows and stuff that's dropping. Whether it's gonna be, I don't know, I forgot the dates, but I seen this one joint called Shogun. That joint look hard. That joint look hard. I ain't gonna cap. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Yeah, if y'all enjoyed the episode, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, and leave a comment in the comment section. If you listen to this on your favorite audio platforms, rate the podcast, leave it 5 stars, hit that follow button, and leave a comment on there as well. And if you want to catch this live, definitely check out the twitch.tv/why I'm geeked. Also, like on all the other socials, I'll be seeing clips for days, bro, for days. But we're gonna head up out of here. Appreciate y'all for watching. See you next week. Stay geeked. Peace.
Ideal.